Hello YouTube, thank you for joining me again. This is the second of my kind of slower paced but more informative astro weather, so it's my attempt to do it that way. Astro weather, what's that? Just a daily astrology, the way the heavens are standing as we go into the new day, which right now is Friday the 26th of January 2018. I'm doing this in West Wales, United Kingdom. The time here is about 8 minutes past 8 as I'm doing it. It's just changed, or I would be more specific. Let's have a quick rundown of the main kind of look at today and the way things are supposed to be going. The tablet always plays up as soon as I come on YouTube. There we go. Right. Today the moon is void, of course, pretty much all day. She went void, of course, last night at 16 minutes past 3 a.m. UK time, and she is void until she enters Gemini at 21 minutes to 5, 17:39 GMT or UTC today. During a void, of course, period, there's no point doing anything that attracts any new action. It's not a great time for starting new projects. If you really want to start a new project, don't let this stop you, but do be aware that it's just not the best time for that. Let's just move this a bit because I've got this sort of white line thing in my eye which is going up. There we are. That is marginally better, moderately better. So the moon is still essentially a Taurus moon, but she's void, of course. It's very difficult to change anything when that happens. And they say, comforts are a bother. The things you do to kind of try and make it feel better don't take you where you would like to be, really. So anyway, then the moon enters Gemini tonight and stays in Gemini until actually 3 minutes to 7 on Sunday evening. So it's a Gemini weekend of it, really. People are more sociable, more willing to interact with each other, more cheerful actually as well, and are able to be more outgoing. I mean, even people who aren't normally cheerful, that people that annoy everyone, can get out there, that's me, can get out there and annoy people less because of this cheerful thing, which is wonderful. Good day for getting out there today if you really want to. Particularly good if you want to get out there and meet like-minded people. That's a real good indication of today. Gemini moon favours study, intellectual pursuits, acquaintances, that kind of thing. Well, that's more later tonight and into the weekend as we go, as the actual energy of that starts happening. We may become aware of things to do with the lungs, the upper airways, the arms, the hands, the clavicles. That is what Gemini is pretty much all about in the human body. But right now she is still void in Taurus and will be there all day. She's 65.6% full at this moment. Waxing gibbous, still growing, still getting bigger until the 31st of January at 13:26 UK time, when that is then all over and she reaches full moon and starts going back the other way. As we're coming up to full moon at the moment, the energy is building. There's a lot behind pushing us forward. After the full moon, in the waning cycle, it's more about asking her to in a very spiritual way, I could say it's about asking her to take our troubles away. But generally speaking, we are much more likely to find not so much help taking us forward as obstacles being removed, which is a wonderful thing. The only thing then is we've got to think in our own minds, and got to be on the case that way as well. So yeah, avoiding Taurus, I have already said that. In the biodynamic cycle, if you're doing any biodynamic farming or gardening, that is to say planting and growing and generally looking after nature by the phases of the moon, that is a very good way to do it. And I actually always think this plays into spiritual matters as well. Essentially, right, it's a root day, so think about putting those spiritual roots down and hanging on tight. Then later, at 21 minutes to 6, when we get into the Gemini moon, it's a flower day. It would be a flower night, won't it? And I don't know, maybe no one really wants to go gardening at night. I might be, actually, because I like to look after ex-battery hens, and there's a load of them coming, to the 6 of them coming tomorrow. So I'm going to have to go out and sort of fix up the chicken coop, sterilise it again, and make sure it's all good. So I might very well be gardening at night tonight, but I certainly don't recommend it. There is some big news going on in terms of this next couple of days. Today, January the 26th, Mars enters Sagittarius. And then on January the 31st, two things happen. We have a full moon, total lunar eclipse in 11 degrees Leo, 37 minutes. and also the same day Mercury enters Aquarius. But today I'm going to focus on what's happening today, which is Mars entering Sagittarius. And this is a playoff between motivations and ideals. You know, you've got the Mars energy, which always has the drive and the energy to really push things forward. May not be as communicative as would be nice, but we're favoured in that sense in other ways today, so that's not a problem. But motivations, why do we want these things? Well, why do we want to do what we do? And how does that fit in with our ideals, the way we've always felt our life wanted to be, possibly since childhood? We're all driven by that vision. It's very sad when people go into depression and other illnesses involving the mind, because they kind of lose sight of their ideals, or they can be pretty much forced to believe that their ideals are no good and aren't going to get anyone anywhere. This has been a big problem actually with people who suffer Asperger's going back donkey's years, well really as long as the condition has happened, which is a very long time indeed. Because people will try and kind of squash their ideas because they're not always getting anywhere, or they might, you know, if people's families start worrying that they might be a bit too crazy and it might cause them problems. A lot of that familial stuff goes right back to the 1930s, and at the time Hitler was doing all the, he did an awful lot of dreadful things, but I'm thinking particularly in his overall idea of the Aryan master race. It wasn't only Hitler's Germany that was like that at the time. It was a movement throughout the West, really. And I know my parents' generation, and particularly my grandparents' generation, were very, very afraid of giving birth to anyone who might not be 100% normal, and particularly someone who had a thing like autism that would never be able to kind of, or so they thought at the time, would never be able to explain anything. Times have changed, people are taken more seriously, but I still notice people who suffer from autism getting knocked down a bit. There we go, I've gone off into autism there, but that's another thing, you know, ideals and actions. If you want to help someone who's really struggling to make sense of the world, think about their ideals, not just yours. I mean, it's a lovely thing if you see someone and think, I'd like to help that person. I mean, God bless you, it would be a much worse world if people didn't do things like that, and I'm so glad that people will do them. But think about the person's ideals that you're helping. A classic thing that springs to mind is the old joke about a Boy Scout or someone who really wants to help coming along, and there's a blind lady with a walking stick, a white stick. So he goes up and helps her cross the road, takes her over there fine. Only she didn't really want to cross the road in the first place. Look out for that one, that can happen. So that is, anyway, only 5 days to go before Mercury enters Aquarius. We got Mercury in Capricorn, square Uranus in Aries coming up on January the 28th. That would be Sunday. But on Tuesday the 31st, yeah, or is it? Let me make sure before I go off on one saying things like that. Wednesday the 31st. On Wednesday the 31st, Mercury enters Aquarius. And then also on Wednesday the 31st, of course, full moon in Leo, total lunar eclipse. The sun's going to be in Aquarius opposite the moon in Leo. And it's time for self-expression then, creativity, originality, all those things are favoured. But we're not there yet, we've got 5 days to go. I'm just saying that because it's on its way. Okay, let's see. Oh, do stop it. Mars in... it's gone back to the search page. I don't know what it is, you know, I did one of these on Facebook earlier, a real quick one, and I do a real quick one on Instagram as well. Andy Lynch is the name, by the way, if you want to check those out. And the tablet behaves. As soon as I come on YouTube, some geomagnetic thing happens. It's not telling me a damn thing about it. Okay, well, I was looking forward to going into some detail on that, but I don't think it's going to work. I've no doubt that's telling me something. But basically, the big thing today is the January the 26th one anyway. Mars entering Sagittarius. Motivation, ideals. Some would say that never the twain shall meet. Well, they're going to meet today. What we're going to do about it. We can have all the philosophy in the world and all the fine words. What is actually going to happen when our feet hit the ground? Who knows? But I hope your day is very good today, my friends. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more if you think you can take it. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a beautiful Friday, the 26th of January. Bye-bye.